Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. So today's video is going to be my autumn wrap up of all the books that I read in autumn. Now, as usual, these aren't all of the books that I read. These are just some of them because some of them I've already done reviews of and some others that I'm about to do reviews for. So these are just the rest of them really. If there's any book in particular that you would like just a single more chatty review of, then let me know in the comment section down below because I can always do that for you. And as usual, of course, I'll leave the links for all the books that I mentioned down in the description box below if you want to go and check them out further or purchase them. So let's get started. The first book that I read in autumn was Prada and Prejudice by Katie Oliver. This is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, of course, by Jane Austen, which is one of my favourite books and I absolutely love and adore it and love reading it all the time. This is a retelling and it stars Natalie Dashwood, who is an heiress of a department store, and the department store is going a little bit downhill, so her grandfather gets someone in to give them a hand and to try and turn the store around and to make it a really profitable business. Rhys Gordon is sent in and he is our Mr. Darcy, and it was a really good book at the beginning and I was absolutely loving it. I thought this is a really good retelling. Unfortunately, as the book progressed, I didn't feel like it was the most believable story towards the ending. I don't think it's ever going to deter me to not read the rest of the series because she does carry on retelling the books, but I think it's just one that I love the beginning, was a bit unsure about the end because it didn't feel that realistic. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars just for that reason, but the beginning was absolutely fantastic and a real chick-litty guilty pleasure read. The next book that I read in autumn was Liza of Lambeth by W. Somerset Maugham. I read this as a buddy read with Ange, whose channel I'll link down below. She's absolutely lovely and we both love Maugham. We love his writing style, it's amazing. So we said we'd do a buddy read of Liza of Lambeth, which is his first book. This tells the story of Liza, who lives in Lambeth, funnily enough, which is in London. It's kind of like a bit of a cheaper side of London, to be honest. And there she's very well known. She's a very nice girl. She wears kind of eccentric clothes, but everyone gets on with her. And then she falls for this new bloke that comes in to Lambeth, who is married, who has children, and they begin an affair. Yeah, I had a few problems with this book. Now, when me and Andrew were talking about it, we had very similar problems with the fact that they run into each other, literally run into each other, and that's how they kind of get to know each other. And it's a bit weird because if you actually bump into someone in the street, you don't instantly fall for them, do you? But Liza does, and I just found that was a bit odd. I don't really get the basis of their relationship. I don't get how they actually love each other or like each other. It doesn't seem very realistic to me. The ending though was just mind-blowing. It was ridiculous and I was just shocked for about 10 minutes. I was like, what on earth have I just read? But it's still definitely worth a read. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars just for the problems that I had with the believability of the story, but it's definitely worth a read if you haven't read Liza of Lambeth already. The next book was Evil Under the Sun by Agatha Christie. This was my very last Poirot book. Ugh. Don't worry, I'm going to reread them all already. Everyone's been asking me, what are you going to do now? I'm going to reread them. This was my last one that I had to read for the very first time, and I liked it, but it didn't make me go out in a bang. The story of this one is about a beautiful woman called Arlena, and she's kind of loved by a lot of men, not really liked by that many women, and she is strangled on a beach. And of course Poirot has to come and solve the case. And I like this one, but it just got a bit boring and tedious at some points, and that's quite rare for Agatha Christie. It's definitely not one of her best, but I'm glad I've read it anyway. I next read a children's book, which was Val Victorians by Terry Deary, which is part of the Horrible History series. I used to have loads of these as a child. I have no idea where they are now, but I bought this big kind of box set thing and I've been reading through them every now and then, and I decided to pick up this Val Victorians one. This is really fun. It's really good. It's got lots of random facts in and pictures, and if you're interested in getting into history, this is a little fantastic place to start with. There's a lot of things about children though, that's the only thing I'd say, and less about adults, which would make it a bit more interesting, because I think they knew that a lot of adults read them anyway, so it'd be nice to have a little bit more bits about adults rather than just children, but I liked it all the same. It's really good. 3 out of 5 stars. Great. Another buddy read was The Tale of Beatrix Potter by Margaret Lane. I read this with Hannah from Hannah Lamb. I'll leave her channel down below. I think she might be taking a little break. And we both started this together, and I'm not sure if she's finished it yet, but we both kind of were enjoying it, but I think we both put it down. The reason why I put it down was because when Margaret Lane writes, sometimes she'll be brilliant and fantastic and the story will be really interesting. But then other times it's like she's just gone off on a tangent and I find it a bit boring, and sometimes I had to kind of speed read bits to kind of get back to the interesting bits. So it's definitely worth the read if you're a fan of Beatrix Potter. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. Just be a bit wary of some of the off-tangenty points. Another buddy read for you. I've done loads in autumn. I didn't realise I did so many. But it is Mystery in White, A Christmas Crime Story by someone's name that I cannot pronounce. This I read with Gemma from Non-Fic Books. Again, channel link down below. And I was saying how good this was at the beginning. I was saying to everyone, oh, I'm really loving it. I think it's brilliant and it's so fast paced and I don't know what's coming up. But then that adrenaline just stopped because the story just kind of continued in that mysterious way. I was just like, okay, can someone just get killed already? Just someone die. I don't mean to sound rude by that, but you know, I was just waiting for the murder to happen for such a long time. When it did, I was a bit like, oh, I don't feel invested anymore. The plot of this I thought would be a bit like Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. I'll read the back to you. It says, on Christmas Eve, heavy snowfall brings the train to a halt near the village of Hemonspley. Several passengers take shelter in a deserted country house where the fire has been lit and the table laid for tea, but no one is at home. Trapped together for Christmas, the passengers are seeking to unravel the secrets of an empty house when a murderer strikes in their midst. So I thought it sounded a bit like Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, where these kind of passengers get bumped off one by one. It wasn't like that. And by the time that someone did get murdered, as I said, I just kind of wasn't bothered by then, and I'd kind of lost interest in it. So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because the beginning for me was like 5 out of 5 stars. I thought, oh, this is amazing. The ending, not so much. It won't stop me from reading more of his works in the future though, because I do have, oh, what's it called? The Z Murders. I have one of those, and he also has the 13 Guests in this British Library Crime Classics editions as well. So I will carry on reading them because I think he has the potential to be amazing, just not this one. I then picked up a comic book. I can't remember the last time I read a comic book. Something like May, I think. I think that was just a Wonder Woman, which I know I love. Before that, it was Catwoman right at the beginning. I think it was like January, and that was a massive disappointment, so it kind of put me off comic books unless it was something that I knew I was going to love. But I was craving one because I've been watching lots of Marvel stuff again recently, as you do. And I picked up Batgirl Volume 2, Nightfall Descends, which is part of the DC Comics, the New 52. This is Volume 2. I read Volume 1 and I liked it. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because, I don't know, the problem with the DC ones, when you have characters such as Supergirl or Batgirl and Catwoman sometimes, is that they're kind of male kind of counterparts, I guess. They always have to come in and save the day. Always. And it's so annoying. I'm just like, Wonder Woman never has that. Wonder Woman, she's out there, she's by herself. It's brilliant. With these ones, there's always that kind of male counterpart, like Superman always has to come in on Supergirl, or Batman always has to come in on Catwoman, or Batgirl, and it's just so annoying. I'm just like, why can't they do it by themselves? But in this issue, she does. It's fantastic. She gets help here and there, but it's from a lot of time other women as well. And Batman doesn't really feature too much in this, but this one was incredible. If you haven't read Batgirl before, you don't really need to read this one, but I would advise you to do start with Volume 1. But this one actually almost turned into like a crime mystery story by the end, and I was so hooked because what you don't know is her backstory with her mother and her brother. Her mom left the family home when her and her brother were younger, and they never really knew why, but her mom comes back into it and she says, "I left to save your life." And we're like, oh, what is going on? And the ending, I was just so gripped, and I read it twice over. So as soon as I read it, I just read it again because it was amazing. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely check it out. Even if you're not too keen on kind of these type of comic books, I would give it a go because I absolutely loved it. For the storyline alone, it is amazing. And finally, the last book that I read in autumn was Lizzie Bennet's Diary by Marcia Williams, a retelling of Pride and Prejudice in a diary format. It is beautiful. I don't know if any of you have actually got this since I've been showing it on my channel. I think I've showed it on my channel like 3 times now. It is beautiful. Of course I had to read it quite quickly and I really enjoyed it. The only thing I'd say is that sometimes it doesn't quite feel like Lizzie Bennet, the one that I read in Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. Sometimes it does slightly drift. It doesn't quite feel like her voice, but it soon for me comes back again. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It is definitely worth the read. It's quaint, it's sweet, and because I read that, I was just like, I need to go and read some Jane Austen now, which is what I'm doing. I'm currently reading Emma by Jane Austen and I'm really enjoying it. So thanks to this, I'm going to read some more Austen. So those are all the books that I've read in autumn. I hope you enjoyed this wrap up. As usual, I'll leave my links for my Goodreads, my Twitter, my Book Depository affiliate link. I'll also leave my link for my Instagram account down below because I've just got Instagram and I've decided that each time I'm changing my book, I'm going to take a picture of it so you can see what I'm currently reading if you want to keep update with me that way. If you are new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It would mean the world to me, and I shall see you soon for my next video. Take care for now. Bye!